Okay. I'm going to talk about again why the state of the younger trans community, Generation Z, Millennials, whatever. My honest opinion is this. They're fucked. They're fucked royally. A lot of them cannot take any bit of disagreement. When you question their behavior, they don't like to be called out on it. You know, they don't like to listen to their elders. They really don't. And I don't care what profession they have. I don't care if they're in the schools. I don't care if they're in the courts, which a few of them are. They're not acting very professional, though. I'll certainly say that right now. They're not acting very professional. They're acting like a bunch of babies, if you want my fucking opinion. A bunch of big fucking babies. Like, I sent something here. You get someone here on Twitter, okay? I'm gonna illustrate very quickly here. Okay, someone here says, okay, I'm not gonna give up there. My state just declared war against transgender children and their families. But meanwhile, I was responding to one of their posts with a question. To a point, right? Don't you think that trans people throw each other under the bus based on age and generation? I see it happen a lot, so people can't complain about their issues now when on top of all the bigots in society, they're also divided because I'm not as hip to terms that they are, but I am 41 and they're 30, stupid shit like this. I had enough of it with all the hate already. These computerized robotic trans people are trying to divide the community also. Okay, then when I click on their profile, hold on, wait. Here's the kicker right here. I'm blocked, okay? Now, alright, let's go to another one. Right here, okay? This is what I've been doing. Look, I sent a few likes. I ended up following this particular person here. Or whatever. I followed this particular person. Long story short, I liked a few of their pictures. I followed them. They liked the comment, but they didn't say anything back. They're just kind of eating all the attention for themselves or whatever, you know? So you got someone here, Paige, Christine, or whatever, fully out and proud, women of trans, I said, follow me back and write a response. Don't just eat up all the attention for yourself. Okay, which was a reasonable thing to say. And what happened here? I'm blocked. I'm blocked right there for that. You see, they don't like when people try. They don't like when people try to teach them manners or advise them, which is what a lot of these people need. Because they're very self-centered individuals. They're not nice people, a lot of them. I'm telling you, they're not nice people. These are the people they claim they're going to be leading the future and stuff. I just don't see a future for them. I don't see a goddamn future for them. And they're damn sure useless to me going against the real enemy. If this is what we're going to be doing, they're useless to me. They're not any bit of a good ally if this is the kind of shit they're going to be doing. Period. There's a war to win out there, or a war to fight or whatever, and they're going to be useless as fuck in it. Totally. Because I'm actually the one real motherfucker out here talking about everything, and they're computerized. They're controlled by their masters. Clearly, they have no free thought. These new trans people. And I don't care who gets pissed off at this. I don't really give two fucks. You're going to look at this face, and you're going to keep looking at it, and that's all there is to it. You could try to censor me, but you'll come across me again sometime. I promise you that. I promise you that. For real. Y'all think you're tolerant and liberal and all that. You're not. You act the same as these fucking right-wing zealots. You don't like anything that any little thing that someone says that criticizes your fucking way of life or what you do. Your actions revolving your how you like to get attention and so forth. That kind of stuff. Now, a lot of work needs to be done here. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be side to side with someone like that. I just am. And what else? It's saddening. It's saddening because these are the supposed people who are supposed to be leading the future, right? We're not going to have a future with these kind of people. They want to be called ladies, right? But they ain't acting like it. I'll certainly tell you that right now. They aren't acting like it. One bit. Is there another one over here? Anything else that I come across? Oh, and just some other bullshit of people getting on me because I criticize bisexualness as people who are straight mostly, you know. So anyways, yeah, I've been definitely pissing some of these people off lately. Not even fully intending to, but just by writing my comments and saying my opinions, that's all. And we're seeing these people for who they really are. Like this one here called Dev, okay, in Florida liked a comment that he made toward me, so I started some shit with her too. I'm gonna start shit with these people until I get bored. That's what I'm ultimately gonna do. Kind of a 50s pinup vibe. This person says here, it's time to take out the trash, folks. It's time to take out the goddamn trash. I'm serious. I'm very serious. Now, if you're rude to me, I'm going to come at you. That's how I am. Or if I suspect something going on, I said, it's okay, like his stupid post. I hate Floridians anyhow. Transplant or native, the whole place sucks and has always been a Republican stronghold full of rich Jews and other fucks. So yeah, mess up with your home. What are you going to do? I'm pissed off in general, and I won't hesitate to take my frustrations out on other people in my own camp, since there really is no unity anyhow, which I'm correct about that. There really isn't any goddamn unity anyways. So you might as well take your frustrations out on some of these fucking people while you're at it. I mean, really, I've had enough. I've fucking had enough. I'm sick of the bigots, and I'm sick of people trying to get in my way when I'm trying to go at the real enemy here, and then these people who are supposed to be on my side. Perhaps. Hello, what? Wait a minute. Yeah. I don't think it's like, I can't do this. People, who the fuck they think they are, asking me for stupid shit like this. And Christ, I don't got a pair of socks. What? The fuck would anyone ask me that at this fucking time in the morning for? Oh damn it! I'm already pissed off. As it is, I'm already talking about what I'm talking about here. Some guy picks my door to knock on? Why? Doesn't fucking know me from anyone. Why would he pick my door to knock? I don't even talk to the damn guy in my life, for Christ's sakes. Anyways, yeah. So, what else? So, yeah. Anyone in the comments section here? What is the end goal in all this? Just to set the record straight. That's really it. Just to set the record straight. I'm upset I say something, you know? That's how it is. And yeah. I think it's good for content, but I also think it's good to actually to get out there and see how people are going to respond and do all this other stuff. And then I don't think if there's anything I can focus on. Just other people who I managed to get the attention of a little bit, maybe. And then they were constantly putting me on hold. Stupid shit like that. So I say to someone here by the name of Elizabeth Knight, something like this. I introduce myself as a fellow trans person. And someone asked me, I'm curious to let me apologize in advance if I ask anything out of line here. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Ask you anything. You don't need to answer my questions. So you're not pursuing a medical transit, this is GRS, if you don't mind explaining your reasoning, I'd really appreciate it. I say, no, I don't plan to. I don't get technical, I'm not new age, I'm old school, one of the last left. Are you looking for new friends? I'm at odds with many of the younger trans people until the community can be inclusive and not segregate based on age and get open-minded. I'm afraid there's going to be continued division. That's what I say. The issue is real. Enough bigots out there in the world, and there needs to be zero division in this community. I don't think we mesh well. I was actually wondering what you meant by old school. Yeah, right there. I know for sure that's it. That's the end right there. See, I knew it. Thank you for proving me correct. You all act the same now. You're programmed like computers to do what your masters tell you to do. With all the racists and bigots you choose to divide, it figures. Stay with your snowflake crew. Sir, you don't deserve to be called a lady. I'll tell you what they tell me. So exactly, right there. Yep, When I get mad, you never fucking know what's going to come out of my mouth. I'll tell you that right there. You just never fucking know. So there. There needs to be a lot of reform and education in this friggin' community before anything is ever going to get back on track. They don't have it. They're losing the war. They are losing the war. Is what's going on here. Yeah, and don't they judge quite a bit? That's what the evidence shows me right there. They judge quite a damn bit, don't they? Right from these emails that I'm illustrating right here. So yeah. So yeah, thank you for proving me right. 50 Shades of Crazy. What's going on? Just calling out the nonsense with some of the younger trans people out there that I've tried to talk to and get in contact with, and it's no use. They're killing themselves off, you know. That's just how it's gonna go. And all that. And what else here? And kind of like the conservative zealots, you meet very few of them that are nice too. Not very many of them, you know? Hi, Joni. I'm just going off right now about the younger trans community. That's so far I've been trying to reach out to locally here, and maybe in other places, just wherever, Twitter and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. They're literally killing themselves, honestly. In their community and whatever else. I don't think there's any hope for them. I do not follow Blair White. Who is that? I do not follow. I just think in reverse, they have the same fragility that the white male supremacist has. I think that these trans girls have too, that are white mostly. They have the same kind of thing going. You say every little thing to them and they get offended too. It's like, you know what I mean? They're just as bad as these right-wing men that write me on housing ads and shit. They're just as bad, honestly. They see their own little bubble in all that. They haven't had any hardships, really, besides maybe coming out to their family. But before that, it really didn't go that bad for them, I don't really feel. Some of them have had lifelong friends, I believe. They weren't the types of people that they got discriminated no matter what side they were on, or what persona they were, or anything. I don't think they were the types that really got discriminated all across the board, no matter what they decided to do in their life, whether they were trans, whether they were a right-wing fanatic, whether they were this or that. I think everyone is going to be fragile about something or another, no matter who you are. That's just the human condition. I get it, but overly fragile to something that I'm asking is not acceptable, because I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person at all. And that's it. But if I get treated that way, that just makes me want to be more of a thorn in their side. That's what that just makes me want to do more. Because I would have had any one of their backs, but they decided to do this and go this way with me. I'm the wrong person to do that to. Because I hold grudges, and I won't stop. So, that's just it. I mean, one free truck camper is very nice. Oh, alright, you're trying to sell your camper. So how about this Blair White person? You say a trans girl who's very conservative and is controversial. I'm trying to think. I'm not even going for that either. I'm not even going for a conservative look or anything like that, no. But I just call shit when I see it. Period. Blair White. Blair White. Yes, well, that's what I try to make it lead to. Real life, yes. But you gotta start here, too. If you meet them on the internet, that's where you gotta start. And then you gotta work your way to real life. But they can't even graduate that stage, and you're all done. There's no meeting in real life at that point. So... Blair White, here's why other people, trans people, hate me. What's this all about? Let's see what's going on here, huh?
You know, it is one of those things where once you take stances that are unpopular, you become sort of unpopular in certain segments. I have never been denied a single thing. The problem might just be you. Have you ever considered the problem is you and not trans people?
No.
Okay, well, I'm here to tell you the problem is you and not trans people. This is what the left does to all minorities, which is try to instruct them how to think, try to instruct them what they need to believe in. Like, I don't care who you are, what you really believe, as long as you're voting in the direction of freedom. And that's all I care about. I think that you and I definitely agree on a lot of this. For me, I'd rather have a conversation sort of about the logic behind your stance. I feel like I'm always damage controlling for the trans community, which is so frustrating. So I'm a YouTuber, and I'm definitely more so known for being the queen of controversy. That's kind of what people call me. I have a lot of takes on my channel that maybe other people in my community don't typically have, which is fine, or at least it should be. You tend to get blackballed a little bit when you do, black sheeped a little bit when you do. Real life is definitely kinder, but online, just search my name up and the word trans, and you'll see a lot of crazy comments about me. Trans sports, that's probably the one I've taken the most heat for, is feeling as though it isn't fair for trans women to compete in sports with biological women, at least in the overwhelming majority of cases.
I'm quite disappointed for the female athlete who will lose out on that spot. We're all about equality for women in sport, but right now that equality's been taken away from us. White leftists come up to me and say, like, what do we do? Like, this isn't fair, what can we do? And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do, because every time we try to voice it, we get told to be quiet.
But straight trying to go up, does pretty well, gets her on the ground. Now you can see how her ground game goes.
Alana McLaughlin! Even people who don't care about sports, you mention trans in sports, and suddenly everyone has an opinion. And so do I, but it seems as if sometimes there's only one set of opinions that can be held, especially in my community. I was just a college student trying to go to school for computer science. I decided one day, after being fed up on my college campus and just inherently knowing that I couldn't share my beliefs with my peers or my professors.
Jody, you listen to this here?
I said, let me take to the internet. Let me make a YouTube video. I think I expected about 7 people to watch it, 5 being my family members. Woke up the next day, the video was going viral, and my life has changed dramatically ever since, and now I'm here. My first video was about feminism, which is funny because feminism used to be kind of like the centerpiece of online political discourse, and now it's a little less of a hot topic, but back then that was the topic to talk about if you wanted to get canceled. So I transitioned at 20. It was the best decision of my life. I would never take it back. It opened up so many opportunities in my life. Obviously, it was right for me as a person. My earliest memories in life, probably 4 or 5 years old, was feeling gender dysphoria. So it was a feeling that escalated throughout my entire life, and I fixed it. I think that sometimes as YouTubers, commentators, whatever you want to call it, we can maybe feel as though we're very much hated outside of our supporters, obviously, because online it's a lot of hate. But in reality, if I go to an LGBT part of town, I can't really walk more than 5 feet without people saying that they're thankful for my content, they've been inspired by it. They can't publicly agree with me, but they'll let me know on the side. Being trans is not an ideology, it's not a belief system, it's just an aspect of who I am. Not whole of who I am, an aspect of who I am. And so the idea that I have to hold certain political opinions, certain beliefs, just...
Now see, this is someone who could play on a girl's team. I mean, this isn't someone who has male strength.
I'm a trans woman, period.
Right there.
Point blank. I have no problem with that. I don't need to try to validate myself.
What I don't understand is why doesn't she endorse other trans girls playing on the teams?
That is my life.
I don't
because
understand.
That's not my life. That's not
Judging
my
by her,
experience.
she wouldn't be too strong, right?
Have very different experiences obviously some similarities, some connections,
So-
some things you could absolutely relate to, but there's a lot you can't. So the idea to blindly conflate the two when having scientific discussions is also a problem. So you have a lot of trans people going to hospitals and
I
not
will
disclosing
just
that
never
they're trans,
agree with
and then they're
that,
getting the wrong
you
treatment
know?
for certain things. That's just a reality, and it absolutely shouldn't be something that's controversial to say. Biological sex is not changeable. You can obviously live your life the way that you want. I'm an example of that. Gender dysphoria, up until I think just a couple years ago, was always listed as a mental disorder. And for me, I'm all about destigmatizing mental health issues. I don't feel the need to bury the fact that it's clearly some sort of neurological condition that caused me to feel this way. I think if you're feeling these feelings at 4 years old, it's something there. And so to me, it makes all the sense in the world to say gender dysphoria is a mental disorder, a mental health issue, and it should be treated as such, and people should work their way out of it in the way that they see fit. Search up the word detransition on YouTube. It's a growing number of young people who are facing this issue, who transition, end up regretting it. There's a very common narrative that they feel sucked into online discourse that maybe validates something of them that might not be so valid, which is those feelings of being trans. Obviously, detransitioners don't make up the entire trans community. There's plenty of people who transition and are happy about it. But the idea that we can only talk about the ones on the happy end of the spectrum, especially when there's kids doing it, I think is an issue. So I've made a point to interview a lot of them on my channel, and they're some of my most watched videos, some of the ones that you'll find the most compelling, because you'll have a 16-year-old girl who removed her breasts, underwent testosterone, has a permanently deep voice because of it. And it's tragic, and they're definitely censored themselves. They're not allowed to tell their stories. They face a ton of backlash within the community, and that definitely needs to change. I think that a more general and all-encompassing discussion on this topic, especially because it's so complex, is what we need, not censorship of one side or the other. I think that there is a phenomenon that happens.
But the problem is when someone like that goes to the reverse end of the spectrum.
Parents of trans kids,
Also,
it becomes their identity to an extent.
I just can't do that,
Them being the
no
parent
matter
of a
what.
trans child is suddenly, you see it in a lot of them. They have online personas because of it. That can lead to maybe an unhealthy attachment towards their kid being trans, and if that feeling happens to change, the parents might not be as willing to allow it to change. There was a documentary called Transhood, I believe, on HBO recently, and there was a boy who, from the age of I think 5 or 6, wanted to wear dresses like the color pink. By the time he turns 10, he said, "Actually, Mom and Dad, I'm a boy, I don't want to be a girl," and the mother would not let it go. The mother actually went into a depression because the child wasn't trans. So as opposed to just supporting your child on their journey they're on regardless, it can't become their own journey, and that happens sometimes. I think there's a certain inclination to only talk about the success stories of trans people, that once you transition, your life is set and you're happy and everything's great, when in reality, for me, transitioning was the jump off. It was like, I'm going to get this over with, and then I'm going to move on to building a career, having a family, building a real life. There's life after transition, and that's never discussed really. Permanently altering your body is much more of an adult decision.
Is anyone paying attention to this right now and commenting? Can someone comment about this?
Saying that they made a mistake, that they regret it, that all of that, I'm probably going to be more inclined to believe it should be done as an adult, or at least in the very late teen years at the very minimum. But you have 12-year-olds going on puberty blockers. They tend to not develop in a way that is needed to have an actual sex change. Jazz Jennings is an example. She has a reality show. She's a young trans girl, and there's nothing against her. I think she's a great person, and I think she's cool. But because of her going on medication so young, they couldn't even give her the sex change she wanted all her life because she didn't develop to the point where that was possible.
They took me to the doctor when I was 3 years old.
There's a fine line that people have to take
One
with all
dog was
this.
a girl and had girl parts, and one dog was a boy and had boy parts. And she said, "Which do you have right now?" And I pointed to the boy dog. And then she said, "Which do you want?"
I don't think all these medications is good
I would
either.
say I have a girl brain and a boy body, and I think like a girl, but I just have a boy body. And
we have to have conversations about all of it, not just half of it. There's a lot of my pronouns are
You see, I would not be able to
vampire.
tell the difference
She said,
here,
"Which do you
okay?
want?" I
Look at
pointed to
this.
the girl
Someone
doll.
like this could play on the teams.
I have a
No
girl brain and
problem.
a boy body, and I
No
think like a
problem.
girl, but I just have a boy body. And
We have to have conversations about all of it, not just half of it.
That person
There's
would
a lot
not
of
come on a
pronouns
girl's
like
team
doll,
and dominate.
vampire.
They
It's really a
wouldn't.
costume for a lot of
Alright?
people.
That's just the narrative that they
They're
like to
basically your own
push.
custom pronouns when no other pronouns
And
even fit.
I'm going to make that clear
Come up
too
with
while
your
we're
own
at it.
pronouns. Anything can really be a pronoun.
I just came up with new neopronouns that combine he, him, she, her, and they, them. We have them so they've combined he and she as well. Everybody gets you with these them theirs today.
I just added Bug to my list of pronouns. Bug wanted to go to the store by Bug's self.
But the unfortunate thing is that sort of the 87 gender crowd is often conflated with being a transsexual, which is what I am. I don't relate to that crowd. I don't find similarities in our narrative, in our life story. But when I meet other transsexuals, there's obviously things I can compare it with. With that crowd, not so much. I think that, like all trends, it will eventually die out. I think that in many ways it's like the new emo, it's the new attention seeking. You know, everyone has it in their profile, even if they don't really need to. Like, you have just a straight up like biological man or woman who looks like a biological man or woman and they want to put it in their description. I think that a lot of people come at it from a good place, but it is really interesting to see it, being trans myself, that like it's kind of a show for a lot of people, is kind of virtue signaling that these are my pronouns. Being trans isn't a trend for actual trans people. It's like, this is something that is, like I said, a reality for me since I was a very young child, and it never went away. So the idea that it's reduced to...
That's the type of person who should be endorsing trans girls on sports teams, and they don't.
Extremely frustrated with it. I've never talked to an actual...
Someone who lives the life and they've done so for a long time. I never get those conservative trans women. I don't get them for the life of me.
It
Also,
would be a luxury if the only issue I could base my voting on...
maybe having an issue with the liberal ones, but I'm telling you now, these other ones aren't always 100% making up for
based
it.
on how I feel about foreign policy, immigration, the border, COVID, like, those are all things I care infinitely more about.
There's still
and those are things that are gonna
inconsistencies
shape
with it.
how I live my life and make choices. I think it goes back to treating it as an ideology, treating trans as an ideology, but it's really just a group of people, and you see this with all minorities. You see people that are black told they have to vote a certain way. Look at the Larry Elder incident. You had a white woman in a gorilla mask assaulting him, and somehow that white woman isn't racist because she's a liberal. So oddly enough, I think it was my transition that pushed me towards being on the right. I'm a Republican. I think that people maybe have a misconception that because I'm trans, that there was once upon a time where I was a Democrat, voting Democrat, never voted for a Democrat in my life. You know, I'm a Republican. Am I going to sit here and say that I am...
Never voted for a Democrat in her life.
All of those beliefs?
It is a
Absolutely
trans
not.
person.
But
I don't get
their
that
political
either.
party as it
I
stands now is
can't
probably
get that.
most closely aligned with my
You
beliefs.
know,
No
I
one can
can't.
sit here and say that the right has been amazing to trans people or amazing on trans issues. That would be a bit of a delusion. However, I think that a lot of people get very mad that I
It's all up to
exist
everyone,
in
I
that
guess, what
realm,
category
in the
they
right
want to
world,
put
and
me in
that I do
there,
videos
you
for the
know?
Daily Wire, and that I'm open about my views. But wouldn't you rather have someone like me have a seat at the table and be able to be part of the conversation rather than secluding ourselves to one side? I garnered a sense of independence, self-reliance, self-growth that is definitely more of...
It's just two different masters,
So I
that's
think
all
that
they
it only
really
makes sense
are.
if I'm going to take responsibility and change my life and shape it in the way
She's
I want,
controlled too, is
then
what
that's
I
going to be that.
think. Maybe a little less, but she is, nonetheless. My opinion. So what else is there tonight? I was pretty much saying how the liberal trans people that I've ever run into, they don't set a model for the community. When that should be the side producing more of the authentic ones, yes? Well, that's the thought. At least that's the thought. Okay, the hope and the thought that with all the shit going on now, the community would come together seeing that there are trans activists literally committing suicide. And certain things have happened. So you would think that more of them will be coming together more than ever, and possibly devising plans to help the poorer people who are trans. And I don't see any effort being done there. And I covered that before on this on my live stream. I've covered that before on here. That there's absolutely no sign of anything getting better or improving with anything. They're all killing themselves just by taking the actions they're taking, which is really no real action, as far as I'm concerned. Well, it doesn't mean I'm going to go over and support Blair White necessarily either. That's not what this whole thing means. So, that's all there is to that, I guess. So, I think with all that being said, I'm going to go. I just wanted to say some of my last beliefs before I go to sleep tonight. Just about right now, and I'm about done. 36 minutes in, I think it's enough time to cover everything I covered. I don't think we need to do a little more. So, tonight, yeah, good night, everyone. Good night, good night, good night, good night.